This is a Japanese 3-cylinder engine. A 3-cylinder 22 horsepower Kubota machine. What about today's video? Let's take a look at how this engine works. Refurbished. Small book machine. Usually like people with small books. Short and delicate. So this machine is no exception. This machine has already told you about it. It's a 3-cylinder, 22 horsepower Kubota engine. Like this 22 horsepower machine. 3 cylinders were used. Sometimes it really can't catch up with a domestic single cylinder. The power of a high-powered engine. I can't really say this. It's up to engineers everywhere to design his brain holes. This thing should be an oil sensor. This is the starter. Like this 3-cylinder engine, it is much more complex than the structure of a single cylinder. Remove the belt. Disassemble the generator, leaving aside national values. It's actually okay for the little book to make things. Especially the engine aspect. Durability and durability are still okay. Remove the cooling fan. Remove the crankshaft pulley. First, you need to remove the external fastening nut. To remove this wheel, you need to use an 8-wheeler. This is the high-pressure oil pump. Take off the throttle lever. The oil pump of a diesel engine is very precise. Generally, those without technology dare not disassemble the oil pump, especially the tuning oil pump. The more famous in China is our river, Nanyang side, and there are storefronts all over the country. Remove the oil filter. Go ahead and start breaking down the others. Start disassembling the engine here. A bottle cap on the front end. And this is a water pump. Remove the gearbox cover. Remove the card yellow. Remove the gear fixing shaft in the middle of the gear. This is the oil pump drive gear. Remove the outlet pipe. There is still a lot of scale inside. It won't take too short to see this situation. Continue to remove the valve chamber cover. Remove the cover. This is high-pressure U-tube. The high-pressure U-tube has a fuel injector attached to the bottom. Remove the high-pressure U-tube on the side of the oil pump. These pipes are all metal. The working pressure of a diesel engine will be very high, so you have to use this metal pipe. Disassemble the intake pipe. Remove the injector. The pipe between the injector and the injector. Back to U-tube. Remove an U-tube. Now is the time to disassemble the injector. This injector is directly screwed on. It is still possible to dismantle the hole. Start disassembling the rocker arm assembly at this point. And notice, this steel is not that big. It feels like 30 or 40 centimeters. This makes 3 cylinders of 22 horsepower. Such a small model. It's not easy. Now start removing the steel bolts. Then take off the cylinder head. Leaking piston inside. Continue to disassemble the oil pump. This should be the plunger pump. These 3 plungers belong to the core of the oil pump. This is the drive mechanism at the bottom. There are also several cams for composition. It works just like a camshaft. This should be the centrifugal control of the flow pump. Remove the clutch. Clutch plate. The flywheel is fixed with 6 bolts. Remove the 6 bolts to remove the flywheel. Knock the flywheel from the side of the starter. Remove the flywheel protective cover. Start removing the oil pan. This disc belongs to the oil and filter. This pairs of motor oil is a crude filter. Start removing the connecting rods. Remove the big head of the connecting rod. Then the piston is removed from the other direction. All 3 pistons are taken out the same way. Now start disassembling the camshaft. Remove the positioning of the camshaft. Pull out the camshaft. To the main body of the engine here. It's almost disassembled. The next step is to start cleaning and sanding the dirt. First sand the cylinder block. This is the cylinder head. Flywheel protective housing. Valve cover. Intake trachea. Do the body again and polish it thoroughly. It's a renovation after all, so it's necessary to grind the valves. Apply abrasive sand between the valve and the valve base. Use of modern tools to accelerate the grinding of valves. Cleaning pistons and connecting rods. Looking at this situation, the piston should not be replaced. After all the parts are cleaned, the next thing to do is to repaint. In order to ensure the quality of the spray paint, the first is to spray the bottom gas, then spray the top coat. And these are the top coat coats. The starter housing is directly painted black. Make a color scheme. Next, start installing back. Install the piston and piston ring into contact with the clamp. You need to use these specialized tools. Family piston rings and pistons. Push the piston into the cylinder. Generally, oil needs to be applied to the assembly contact surface to assist in lubrication. The second cylinder is also a universal operation. According to the situation, the piston ring has not been replaced either. Only did a simple cleaning job. Install the connecting rod big head. After the electric wrench is tightened a little, torque should be applied again. One last reel of the crankshaft. Make sure it's running properly. Install the oil filter. The oil pan should be fitted with another pad. Apply sealant. Replace the sump. Install the oil pump drive shaft. You also need to apply gasoline before installing. Here's a bushing. Connect gear. Install the housing with a spring to prevent axial movement. Reinstall the high-pressure oil pump assembly. Reinstall the camshaft. 2 screws to locate this is the base of the ejector rod. Install the transition wheel. Okay, mark it. And there's a mark between each of these gears. It's marked. Put back the gearbox cover. The oil seal needs to be replaced with a new one. The belt wheel around the curve on the table. Direct sledgehammer in place. Tighten the fixing nut. Prevent loosening of the throttle lever. Is this cylinder pad still old? Install cylinder head. Install the intake pipe. This belongs to the exhaust pipe. Exhaust pipes are generally cast iron. Install the flywheel protective housing. Install the flywheel. 6 bolts. Install the clutch. Install the ejector rod. 1 cylinder is 2 ejector rods. 3 cylinders are 6. Install the rocker arm assembly. One end of the rocker arm contacts the ejector rod. The other end touches the valve. After the screws are tightened, the valve clearance needs to be adjusted. 3 fuel dispensers on the table. Install the valve chamber cover. On top are 3 rubber pads. The one in the middle belongs to the refueling port, oil port. That's the starter. It's a blackened treatment. Load back the oil pressure sensor. Install a generator. Bolt on. Probably adjust the position. After installing the belt, it can be completely tightened. Install a cooling fan. Install the belt. After adjusting the belt tightness, tighten the generator and install the exhaust silencer. So far, even if this engine is refurbished, and this is the end result. Of course, before starting, oil cooling needs to be added. You can also leave it alone. It is no problem to start for a short time. Specific. The whole detail still looks very good. Although the current popularity of electric vehicles is very rapid. However, it is still unable to completely replace the internal combustion engine, especially long-distance transportation and military products. This aspect of internal combustion, the demand for machines remains dominant. I personally believe there will be more to meet the needs of internal combustion engines. The oil has been added at this moment. Then it starts to start normally. Of course, the exhaust process before starting has been omitted. Tell the truth. Overall, the sound is still very good. It doesn't seem very steep either. 3-bar engines are known to be very steep. However, this is compared to a 4-cylinder engine. If you compare it to a horizontal bar engine, this jitter is negligible. Looking at this situation, the engine does not emit black smoke either. The overall renovation was also very successful. That's all for today's video. If you like the video, you can like it, comment, collect and forward it. You can also long press like to strongly recommend the video. I'm Bro. Thanks for your attention. See you next time.